Still not live. Hi, and welcome back to Celebrity with Nene. So I'm Nene, and today I have Jerome and Reese with me, and we are going to be reviewing last night's episode of Love During Lockup. So we will be doing season 4, episode 45. Okay, so I guess we'll just go ahead and jump right in and start off with the first couple. So the first couple that we had was Andy and Brittany. Okay, so Andy, he's driving in his car. It's raining. He says he doesn't know, where his relationship with Brittany and himself stands. So he also says that he doesn't know why his daughter said what they said because he was not an absent father. Which I'm just sitting there like, clearly you were an absent father. That's why they feel the way that they feel. If you were in their lives like that, they wouldn't say that. They wouldn't say it. So I believe you are a little delusional. I don't believe that you were there for your daughters. And that was why they felt the need to express that, not only express that, but to express it to your new woman. Because that's what they truly feel. All right. And he is still in his delusion and he was like, he can't believe that, him and Brittany are where they're at, considering his daughter just said one little thing. Yeah, she said one thing, but it wasn't little. What she said, um, it would have a lot of impact on any woman that has children. Mm-hmm. Any woman that wants children, any woman that wants to be in a family with you. So it's not one little thing. What she said it was a very powerful statement what she was making. All right. And so Brittany actually ends up calling and she tells him that her daughter cannot come and visit her unless he comes because their visit is somehow tied together. Um, and so she asks him to come to the visit. So he agrees. I guess I should say in the previous episode, she asked Andy not to come. She didn't want him coming to the visit. She didn't want him around her children. But yeah. And so Andy okay, so Andy he then for whatever reason says, yeah, well, I'm gonna come and visit, but I was blindsided. Last time. And Brittany, I love the way she gathers him up when she when she gets aggravated with him. And which I understood because I was like, you were blindsided? And so she was like, no, I was the one blindsided because I was informed of things I did not know that you did not tell me. And so, like I said, I like when she gathers him up. She gathers him up good. Alrighty. So thoughts on Andy and Brittany this week?
Yeah, I like that part too because when he had the nerves to even say you blindsided me, I'm like, she didn't even know your kids didn't like her. You know what I mean? So she said she was blindsided more than once. She said, I didn't know your kids didn't like me and about this stuff. And those are huge. Like if your kids don't like me, that's a problem. If you are absentee dad and I got younger kids, that's a problem. So I understand completely on why she felt the way she felt. Um, I do believe she's only letting him come because she wants her daughter to come. Even though he was like, I hope that's not what you're doing, but I'm gonna come anyway because I know she want to see her daughter. But she better not be doing that, and I get a big surprise. But it's kind of like like I feel like I would go with the intent of knowing, like right now she's still mad at me, and I'm doing this for her to see her daughter, not for us to fix things necessarily. If we are able to, then great. But you hit her with a big thing right like the day or two before you finna come see her. So I mean, you didn't hit it with it, but your daughters did. So like he gotta have some understanding in that too. But yeah, he was wrong on that. Talking about some he was blindsided. Blindsided by what?
Right.
You weren't getting to come, or you didn't get to come because she found out that you weren't there for your kids. But I do give him. He said he's gonna try to make it better because he doesn't understand. So once he has a sit down and he understands, like I think JC said it in the last episode, that monetary taking care of them through money is not taking care of them. If you're not there physically, if they need their father, emotionally when something's going on, all that stuff, then yeah, you're not there for them. And even if you can't even do some of those things, it sounds like he wasn't doing none of them. So
Yeah.
except money.
Possibly we don't even know that because the children didn't even speak on the money part. So we don't even know that. Yeah, for sure.
Well,
Mhm.
like I'll normally I'll come in here and I gotta take up for the fellas. Just not this particular one scene right here.
Okay, because
He,
look, I was
he,
about to gather you like Brittany. I was about to take Brittany's role. And I was about to gather you real quick. Like, I know you are not defending this.
Look, I was trying to say, as a moderator, can I drop him out the box?
Yeah, I was gonna put you backstage. Let you just say all that back there.
but he is Mr. Delusional. It's like he's done these things and he cannot take accountability that he caused all this. He caused the failure with his daughters. And and I did say it, and Ricky, thanks for bringing that up. Is that sometimes at times your presence is just important as your presence. Like I said, he drove trucks and what have you, and felt that he provided, and even when it came to where, yeah, well, now she's coming back. Well, you got to be here because of the daughter. See, his daughter, he didn't look at it as, well, this is an opportunity for me to make it right. It's like, you know what? Your kids are important to you. I'll come there. He's like, well, yeah, I'll be there because you need me now. Does this mean we're back together again? I'm like, we'll talk about it. Oh, you still talk more about her taking. It's like, basically, I will let you see your child if you will accept that we can be back together again. You totally missed the whole concept of the issue. So he's got to sit down with his kids, like Reese said, he's got to sit down with his kids, but also he's got to open his mind to be able to accept what they have to say in order for him to make it right, not only with his kids, but with her and her kids as well.
Yes, and there seemed to be a theme in this episode where people were basically it was like they would take one situation and make that the reason for something else. Like for him, it's like, well, yeah, I'm going to show up with your daughter, but we're getting back together, right? Are we going to talk about that? Things going to be better because it was just one little thing. Or how did he word it? He was like, oh, and I was blindsided. It was like, wait a minute, why do you keep taking the conversation? Why are you taking the conversation here? You've gotten one baby step. She's saying you can come. If you don't want to come because you feel like it's about the daughter, then just say no. That's what I didn't understand. But we're going to see that as we continue to talk about
Wait, can I say one thing real quick?
Sure.
I like what he said. It was deep. Like it was just like super deep. Like especially being like somebody that didn't grow up with my dad around either. He said your presence means just as much as your presence.
Mm-hmm.
That's deep. That's deep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say any parent who ain't doing what they supposed to do and they come around and they give some gifts and you're the cool parent, like no, your presence is more important than your presence because
Mm-hmm.
they gonna love those presents and love you for those presents. But what in life is that teaching them? What you know what I'm saying? And then he even made that
Right.
comment like you've done great in life. They were also raised by your mom.
Right.
Yeah.
That was another little trigger for me. I'm like, how dare you? Okay, just because they are doing well in life, if you weren't there, you had nothing to do with it, so you can't even like
No,
I understand it.
they live with his mom, I think,
Mm-hmm.
because he was on the
Yeah,
road.
and then I'm sorry, and they also said that even the mom went through some adversities raising them. So it's like you provided money and the mom was there, but she had her ups and downs. Where were you to fill in during that time? And then not only just the mom. So I'm guessing if when the mom had her issues and then when they came with him and he was still gone, there was somebody else that was standing in it. I don't know if it was an aunt or whomever that stood in
His
that place
mom,
during that time.
his mom, I think he said helped him with his kids.
Yeah, so his mom. So
Yeah, that's what he should be thinking.
right. So that exactly. So I'm just like, they're doing good, but that's not just based, not solely because of you. Financially, you made it be, but and like you said, you look back at memories. You don't always remember when you got that PlayStation, but you remember when you played catch or when you had a problem with a boy and you talked to your dad about it or talked to your mom about it or what have you.
Or when you want to and they're not available, you're gonna really remember that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next couple was Letitia and Keith. So we see Letitia, she's getting ready to travel to go see Keith. All right, and so Keith calls while she's packing. She's talking to him, and she tells him, well, let me talk to you about what happened at the attorney. So, what was their trip is, here we go once again. So she kind of tells him what the attorney says. She doesn't tell him exactly what the attorney says. So she's like, he thinks it may not be a good idea because you have a record. She doesn't bring up conspiracy. She doesn't bring up the fact that her license could be in danger and that the attorney said it's not a good idea for her to have anybody with their record employed there. So it was like she gave him a soft version of what happened, but she didn't truly tell him the truth. All right. And so while they're on this phone talking, you can tell Keith is getting upset kind of the more and more this conversation progressed. She also talks about the post-nuptial agreement. That really sets him off. He's like, no, I don't do that. I don't do attorneys. You are speaking something into existence. If you speak that's kind of divorce talk and stuff like that, then that can become real. Yeah, you could talk that into existence. And so she sees that the conversation is not going the way I guess she thought it was. So then she's like, well, just forget I brought this up. And he's like, no, 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 because he wants to keep on, which I understand because you stirred that pot. Now, don't get mad with the rumbles that come out of it, but you did that. You started because he didn't ask you what happened at the attorney. You volunteered that information. Not that I'm saying keep secrets, but you volunteered the information pretty much that you wanted to tell him. You didn't even tell him everything, or at least what we saw happen. And so they end up getting off the phone, and then she kind of like yells in frustration, like, what am I gonna do with this man? Maybe you should have had this conversation with him before you got married. Then you would have truly understood that first of all, he don't like attorneys. Because he said that himself. He was like, I don't do attorneys. So he doesn't like attorneys. He don't like the idea of prenups or postnuptials. He doesn't like any of that. So it's like, why are you? If you had discussed certain things before y'all got married, you would have known he would have reacted this way. But I guess not. And so we see her actually traveling to go see him. We see her pull over and she's like freshening up. She's using mouthwash and different stuff like that. And then his aunt calls. And apparently, I guess his aunt has her children. And, she talks to her briefly. And then she mentions some new Robocop that works there that she has a feeling may cause some trouble with her going in to see Keith. And that's pretty much where her scenes end. We see her walking up to like the front reception area or whatever. But after that, their scenes cut. So thoughts on Letitia and Keith this week?
First is the whoa. Yes. I'm sorry, you hearing the echo? Okay. First is I was looking at was, let's go back to let's just start at the end.
Okay.
The outfit was okay. It was extra tight. It was okay. If you already know there's a RoboCop lady there, and you already knowing that you showing see-through or whatever, he's gonna be happy with whatever he can grab. I get it, trying to look good for your man, but you don't want to do nothing where you don't get to see him at all. You already had a rocky phone conversation. Now back to the phone call. This just proves what we said last week, that you made too many moves being this lost, hopeless romantic that you didn't thoroughly think things through, especially on the business side and discussing these things with your husband. You, even though this is your husband, because that's already done, this is probably something you should have discussed with the lawyer before you even brought him in, talked with your crew, your team. And then when you talk to him about it, he's like, I don't want to hear all that. I don't want to hear all that. It's like you have no, and as much as I want to try and take it for the guy somewhere in this episode, having a hard time to. He's not thinking that my wife could lose her business. My wife could lose her license. All he's like, I don't want to hear it. It's like you're just worried about what you get out of this. And then she's talking about the post-nut. Normally we get on, talk about the women about when we want a prenup. He's sitting there screaming like he's one of them. I don't want that. I don't want that. And it's like she's like to protect both of us and protect our kids because if the business messes up, this could bankrupt her as well as him. Where all he's thinking about it is this cuts me off from any money. This also saves you from being liable. Um, so I really think his ideal and mindset and using the idea that, oh well, this you're speaking into existence was really just a cop out to get out of the conversation. It doesn't speak into it. If you got a plan for the future, that's part of adulting.
Yes.
You have to make those plans. So I didn't like that about him. She's now really, it's like when it ended, it's like it's really starting to hit her a little bit that maybe I acted with rose-colored glasses. Maybe I acted a little too irrational, and now I'm a risk this person that I've sat here falling for again because I had the things I liked, now everything of what I needed, and I can end up losing everything.
Did you catch when he was saying something about um the lawyer can't tell me, like, basically the lawyer can't tell him he can't work there and he can still make moves or something and work there still. It was even like he wasn't, but I blame her for that because the way she explained it to him was like maybe it's, not a good idea. Like, no, say it like my customers could have a problem with you handling their stuff. You have conspiracy charges. I deal with very sensitive information, but she didn't say that. So then he was still coming back at it. I don't know if you guys caught that when he had said that, but it was something to that effect of what he was saying. Like, well, he can still work there. Can't no lawyer tell him not to work where he want to work. I was like, this dude.
Yeah, and that was him. And he's one of them people that feels like no matter what I say it. That's it. Can nobody tell me nothing? But the other part is that the way he was responding to her was so aggressive. I see why. It's like if she would have kept trying to talk to him as aggressive as he was coming back. So as much as she didn't explain it, I don't think he had the full opportunity. I don't think she had a full opportunity to explain it to him because she didn't take. I mean, he was really like, no. I'm like, okay. And so she's just like, so I think that's where the call just kind of ended because she's like, I don't want to upset him anymore than what he is.
Yeah, I agree with that. He was being, I guess the only thing I would say, like, I really feel like him being mad about what a lawyer said about him being part of the business, like, to me, that was almost common sense that could have been a issue. And even if she didn't explain the whole thing, she should have. She should have told him, like, it's your charges, the conspiracy charges, and the fact that you are still physically in jail is a problem. Maybe when he gets out, maybe things will be slightly different if he's done his time, or maybe he gets some of the charges. Like, I don't know. But either way, you know what I mean? Him being in jail physically would be a problem for me if I was going to her tax firm. And then, oh my God, what's something else to say about him? Oh, I kind of understand where he came from with the post-nup, because that is kind of like, people don't even want to hear the word prenup. Like, literally, you come to somebody to prenup and you might get cussed out. So then it's like, all right, we're past this. We've been married for however long we've been married. And then here she comes talking about prenup. I mean, a post-nup. It's like, dude, get out my face with that. If you wanted this to be done, you should have did this in the beginning.
Right.
Which, of course, most people probably look at it like, you're a businesswoman. Why wouldn't you have done that in the beginning? To me, in my opinion, like, when you're coming into it with nothing, you don't think like that. But when you're coming into it with something to lose, I just feel like, most people with money or with a business would at least consider that. But like Jerome said, like, that also protects him, because if something happens with that business, y'all are married and you're going to be liable for it too. So a post-nup might even protect him, you know what I'm saying, for not being liable for, like, if her thing fails and she has to come after people, or, people are suing her, or whatever the case may be. So I feel like either way, maybe if they're going to do something like that, like, have it drafted up and talk about, like, okay, yeah, I can't sign this because I don't agree with this, or I'll agree with this if you agree with this type stuff. You can negotiate it, I guess. I guess, I don't know how it works, but I assume you can negotiate prenups. People have little clauses in there, like cheating clauses and things like that. So it's like, or you got to stay married to me for this long and then after that you can get money. You know, there's clauses you can add, so maybe they can do that in the post up too. But I don't know. He really wasn't trying to hear nothing. And then my last thing was that jacket. She needs to stop doing that. I hate that jacket. I hate that jacket. It's too loud and it's too bright. To
But
me, why would
Jerome
you wear
said
that?
you look fine.
Huh?
But Jerome, he liked it.
He said it was all right. So
That's all right.
he
He
said it was
kind
all
of
right. I
liked
think he was trying to be nice in this one, but I'm just gonna put it out there. That thing was hideous and it was loud. Like, why would you wear that to the jail? Like, you know what I'm saying? That's how we said about oh girl when she was picking her dude up, Justine and the other one, but at least she stayed outside. Oh, and one other thing. Why does it always look like they're parked in a desert and the jail's like way on the other side and like they're looking from through binoculars at it? You know what I'm saying? Like why do they do that? Because I've never seen like where a jail is like that. Like I ain't been to a lot, but I've been through to a jail and it wasn't like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they think for editing purposes it looks nice. Who knows?
I don't know. It's weird.
They do a lot of stuff with
Because this every episode they do that. Somebody is in the desert looking at it from far away.
yeah.
Every
But
episode.
see, for some reason, we know what we editing. They think certain things is okay that just ain't.
Well, I guess if they watching, that's weird. Just get to the point. Like just have her go up there. Why she got to stand in the desert telling her look, and it's like she got to be like, oh, I see it over there. You know that was way too far away. But that's all I got.
All right. So the next person we saw was Renika and Asante. All right. So we see Renika. She is about to leave town, so she goes to visit her sister, the one of the people she put out the club in the previous episode. And her sister is expressing her feelings, about just how she feels. She's still trying to get Renika to understand how she feels, and she actually ends up apologizing to her sister. And it goes back to what Jerome said on our last episode, where they're not happy with what she's doing, but they're trying to kind of be supportive to her, whatever. But it's like none of them like what she's doing, but they don't want to fight with her about her going. So the sister basically apologizes, and you can tell that's what the apology was about. All right, and so we see Renika. She stops by to see her mother, and her mother is still saying that she wish she wouldn't go. Her mom was calm. Again, I think is just trying to keep the peace because they know she's still going to do it no matter what they say. And we see her mom waving to them as they pull off in their probably their Uber to head to the airport. We see them at the airport, and then we see them arrive at their Airbnb. Now they're in Atlanta, and so Renika's friend comes over to visit her, and she brings a plant with her, really sweet little housewarming plant. And so Renika's friend basically says the same thing the family has been trying to say. She's like, I don't doubt your love for him. I doubt his love for you. And she was like, well, what's his name? Let's go look him up on Instagram. Which for me, maybe this is just something to me. I would have been looked him up on Instagram. But apparently, I guess Renika has not. So the friend starts looking him up and starts looking through the comments and who's commenting and were they on the other page and stuff. And they start seeing stuff, seeing patterns of certain girls seeing things, certain girls leaving phone numbers and stuff like that. And so I guess Asante called them or they called Asante. Somehow they were on the phone with him and they started questioning him. Well, what's up with this bee? And he's like, what bee? She was like, there's 5 bees. That part was funny to me. She was like, there's 5 of them. And the friend is egging her on, yeah, there's 5. And yeah, and so that's how that ends. Of course, where we don't know what he has said back to them confronting him about the 5 bees. Um, so yeah, so any thought? What are your thoughts on Asante and Renika's?
Ooh, child.
Yeah.
That was crazy. So, I feel like when she went to the sister's house, I'm like the sister handled it well. She did
Mhm.
apologize for what she said, even though at the end she threw it back in there for being funny, probably meaning it still, but being funny. Um, of course the mom was like leaving with me, and she said no, she won't. They're gonna go with her. So I mean, they finally leave.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I do have to put this out there.
Oh, okay.
When her and her girls arrived at the Airbnb, the daughter said,
She didn't
I
want
don't want him to live with us.
it. Mhm.
And you could tell Renika was not going to remotely take it in. She's like, well, just give him a chance and let's see, la la la. Your daughter just told you she don't want this convict who just got out of prison a couple of days ago to move into the home she's living in. You should respect that. You've already uprooted her. I'm sorry, I forgot to say that and I just had to add that in there. I'm
Mm.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna mention it if you didn't. But so first of all, that's a nice Airbnb. I'm like, that's nice. I like that Airbnb. I wonder how much that costs because Airbnbs that are nice really ain't cheap like that. So I'm like, they're gonna be there for a while. So I don't know, but I do like that her friend told her to like look him up or whatever because apparently I guess she was just gonna trust everything he said. Um, I do know sometimes you can have somebody who's crushing on somebody and they like your videos and you might never even go in your DMs and check it out. But for somebody in jail, I feel like you'll be curious on anybody if you tap on their profile and they look cute. I feel like why wouldn't you check them out? You got time. You know what I'm saying? You're not like every other person who has life, other friends, stuff to do, errands to run, work. You got time. Like you would maybe work, go to the gym, hang out in the yard, whatever y'all do, whatever they do. But I feel like you got time. So there's a
Okay.
good chance. And then why that chick will leave her number in the comments? To me, that's like so dumb. You should have put that in his DM, not the comments. Cause
Well, she may have put it in the DM and then he didn't respond to her. So then she's like, well, let me put it here.
well, cause now everybody got it. Like everybody
Yeah.
got the number. Cause now, obviously, I don't know if y'all saw like scenes for the next one, but she called somebody. So that's why I'm like, it probably was that girl. Cause that's what I would do. I would call that chick. Um, And yeah, if I'm like serious or whatever, I already looked up a lot of stuff to be real with you. Like, and if you look stuff up on me, that's fine too. But trust me, you ain't gonna be able to tell me I ain't got this, I ain't got that, or I ain't been this, I ain't been that. Cause you can lie about maybe your body count and all that stuff, but the stuff that legally has to be reported, I already looked it up probably. So, but and then so if you got social media, yeah, I already scanned through that too. But if yeah, and then you could kind of tell, like, so I don't know again if it's we TV editing or if he was like, what? Because when she was like, so who was that chick or that that B, and then she was like 5 Bs, and he was just like looking stressed out. So I'm like, it's probably we TV editing.
Mhm.
'Cause they could easily had all they had was their phone and the thing, so that could have been another scene. However, it don't look good on you, buddy. With the way they edited you, you don't look good. So hopefully the next episode actually proves that you ain't contacted these people or not. But the scenes for the next episodes don't look good for him either. So I don't know. But the fact that the youngest daughter, on top of everybody, is the youngest, so she's gonna be in the house with this man the longest. If she's not comfortable, then you got to reconsider. Like maybe when he get out, he don't live with y'all right away. Um, because she said, well, when he comes around, just give him a chance. But if you're gonna come around, your coming around is in the house, living there. That changes the game. Like that's not coming around. You living here. You're in my space. You're not
Yeah.
just coming and hanging out for a few hours, or you come over for dinner and then you spend the night and go home. You there all day. Like no, like that's not just coming around. So that's not easy to adjust when you can't even just be, especially when you're in an all female household. Maybe they walk around with like skimpy clothes on, or I know some households they be naked and stuff, so you don't know what their lifestyle is prior to her bringing this man into it. And then it's not even a man they got a chance to get to know. Is he coming out of jail and moving right into the house with them? That's not cool. I'm with the 13-year-old, and I wish she would listen, but to me the way she talked and then hugged them, like she loved her girls. I do believe that. Um, but I feel like she's blowing them off like she blew the rest of everybody else off.
Right. And as a mother, before you move a man in with your children, you need to have that discussion with them. Make sure they are comfortable with the person that you're even bringing into the house. If she's saying right now she's not comfortable, don't let him move in. Like you said, he can stay somewhere else and just come over and visit during the daytime hours or maybe spend a night here and there or something.
Yeah.
But to move him in when your daughter has already expressed, I
Mhm.
didn't necessarily like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Jerome, are you going to be able to defend Asante?
No. Well, you know what? The only thing I can defend on him is that he ain't say a lot, so he ain't said nothing wrong this whole scene, so I can defend that. Only thing he said, that was it. Um, as far as her go, and I agree with 99. Well, I agree with all of what Reese said, but I got to add a little more to it. I mean, apologizing to the family. You got everybody, people not knowing each other, but all agreeing this. You're leading with your heart. You're leading with your feelings. This ain't even love no more. This is lust. Um, I'm glad she went to see the other friend in a whole nother state who said the same thing the other family members did and made this move and actually got her to see something. The part that and when they sat there and talked and made them see it going to call, it's like, oh, now you want to call? And I agree with y'all. That's one of the first things I'm doing after, hey, how you doing? It's like checking social medias, whatever the case may be. You're lucky I ain't done a go on and put your number in or whatever and done a background check that way. But I want to say for last was with the daughters. You know, being a father to a daughter myself, and I'm speaking as a dad. I've seen this with moms before. Not all. There are plenty of great mothers, so don't cancel me. I'm talking about the few that put, and I see it with half guys too, where they put meeting someone over the feelings of their children. It's a package deal. The fact that both daughters said they did not like him moving in there was one thing. And I don't know if y'all noticed at the end when she hugged him, you could, if you pay attention, the 13-year-old was like wiping her eyes, like she was crying, emotional about it. And that's not enough. And the other, and what Reese said is sometimes when you're like all girls, y'all dress certain way. Sometimes y'all walk around, no shirt, no nothing, just like ain't nothing. And I kind of felt that way because as a dad, looking at the 13-year-old was cool. Looking at the 50-year-old, I thought she was dressed like she was 18, 19, just all out. I'm like, you're 15. So if you got your kids already that can sit up here and freely be, and now you're going to have a man that's been locked up, and not even just locked up, period, just a man in general where they meet out the blue and they also already feel free enough to dress really uncovered. That's an uncomfortable feeling that's going to be an uncomfortable feeling for them girls. And as a parent, that should be an uncomfortable feeling for you that should be so quick to jump into something. I know if I was the father, if I was the father on the other end and those were my kids, in which that is a question about where the father would be in this. They must have been no good if you don't know. Anyway, but I would really feel some type of way if my daughters were in there and just moving in out of the blue with some guys, especially knowing seeing that mama's nose is so wide open and that they are dressed so openly. I mean, and she doesn't see that as a mother. I don't care how lonely you are, you've got to see that. I mean, and I'm sorry I keep on, but I'm just so passionate about that part. Your kids' feelings should be the most important. You can't wait and put them in a possible situation just because of how you feel. And it's just an awareness thing for me. But yeah, that's it. All I got for that.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. Okay, so I'm going to bring up something, because I feel like with Renika, we've gotten a little dark. Y'all see my pity face. So there was also a little bonus scene with Andy where Andy has written a song for Brittany. I'd like to hear y'all's thoughts on that. I'm not a country music fan, so I don't really want to critique it
I
too
didn't
much.
see that.
You didn't see that bonus scene? You didn't either? Oh, y'all missed it. Yeah, Andy wrote a song for Brittany. But I guess I won't be able to be petty as I want to be since y'all didn't see it. Okay,
Well,
so
if you want to be petty, you could say, "Oh, girl," even though girl was saying like you thinking with, what I'm saying, chasing that D. Even her friend was saying it. Because she said she was like, I've been asking you to come up here all this time,
yeah,
And as soon as he said, you jump, chasing that D. She ain't
Yeah.
even seen it. She don't even know what it's like. It might be terrible when you chase that D.
Yep. Then you get there and it's a pencil. It's you
Yeah,
don't know. You
pencil,
don't.
and he doesn't you know what I'm saying, go down or something, and it's terrible. So you don't get no nothing. Like both parts of it is terrible. Well, you just gonna look at a cute face, but you can't do nothing with it because it's like what, I don't like you no more, because that can ruin it. That
Yeah.
can ruin it. If we can't fix it, that can ruin it.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Girl, you didn't have to go away. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You have to, you have to go away. But no, but seriously though, she is chasing it and she needs to chill, because I didn't see the 13-year-old crying, and that actually hurts my feelings. I'm glad I didn't see that, because I was actually really upset during that scene, because I'm like, dude,
Mhm.
you don't even care what they said. I get you didn't care what the adults said, but these are your flesh and you made these two.
Yeah, and then how you sit up there, well, y'all have all dealt with convicts. That's why y'all feel. No, your children haven't dealt with convicts, so why do they feel that way?
I mean, you're putting them in the vote, and you're basically creating a generational curse. So then, when they
Right.
grow up, should they deal with convicts because they were taken out of that? You let it die. You know, you let it end at your life, but now you're bringing a convict in. So now they're gonna deal with convicts. And then when they get older, they may deal with convicts, and then bring it into their kids' lives. So you're not being a good example if you don't at least listen to them. Because I would feel like, at least if you listen to me and you brought him in and he turned out to be a good guy, different. But if you don't listen to us and he turns out to be the worst thing ever, or he touches one of your kids, you're gonna be
That's
looking real
called.
stupid. Like, that's gonna be some unforgivable stuff.
Right.
So,
Okay. All right. So the next couple we saw was Chris and Jade. All right. And so Jade is talking to Chris on the phone. He briefly talks to um, Jade's sister. And, Jade's sister says she wants the two of them to mend things. Okay. So we find out that they are about to go visit Chris because the prison will allow him, since he is of Indian descent, that he can have, they allow him to have a powwow. And so during the powwow, he can have extended visitors there, whatever. All right. And so his family is supposed to be coming for the visit, and Jade seems to be excited by that because she's going to get to meet more of his family. Well, she actually finds out from Chris that his mom is not coming, and so then Jade is upset. She's like, I came here all the way from Florida, to meet her, and she's not even going to be there. And she doesn't understand, why his mom doesn't like her. Okay, so Jade and her sister, they fly. I think he's in South Dakota or North Dakota. One of those two is where he's at. I'm sure he probably paid for both of their plane tickets. you know. Um, and so when they show up at the powwow. I believe that's his niece is there, and then a couple other of his family members. And so Jade talks to the niece, and the niece is like, she does ask her, do you work? Do you have a job? And she's like, well, no, Chris would rather me not work outside the house. And she was like, oh, did he have you sign a prenuptial agreement? And, she's like, no. And so the niece also. Okay, so then Jade kind of drops hints where you could tell she wants to find out if Chris' mom likes her. So she's like, yeah, I don't think his mom likes me. And the niece is kind of like, and so, she also asked her about the social media. And so the niece brings up the fact that Jade has been on social media bragging about things, and that's not the way their family behaves. They are very reserved. They keep things private. They're not on the internet showing off what they have. And she was saying maybe that's one of the reasons why, you know, um, Chris's mom isn't being more friendly with her. Because she also reveals to us that one time that Jade bought his mom a Christmas present, and she told her, I don't like it here, and gave it back. Jay said it hurt her feelings, which I understand. It would hurt my feelings too. But I want to know what it was exactly that she gave her, though. Because she may have gave her something offensive and she didn't even realize that. I don't know. I really want to know what it was that she gave her. And so the niece also said something that kind of caught my ear too. She was like, we're not like millionaires. And he has the money that he has because he's been in jail and he has been able to save the money that he had or has or whatever. And I was like, okay, Jay. So I hope you're not blowing through his money or helping him blow through what money he saved. So I don't know. So I don't know the specifics, but Denise did say that. She did let her know we are not millionaires. All right. So thoughts on Jade and Chris this week?
Um, this episode said a lot. This episode says a lot to me. It explains a lot. One, listening to Jess already before they even got there when it was in the hotel was already like, well, I don't come with no stuff. It's like she always has something slick to say. This is like the wrong sister to have at this moment. No, she's gonna be the bane of your existence. As a sister. Now, when they get there, I get more context to the family. Like you said, when she's on social media, and if you ever know anyone from like reservations and stuff, they don't really talk a lot about what they have. And you put forth, and if you're doing this and they're seeing it, you really do portray the image that you're in it for the benefit because all you're talking about it is, oh, I got this, oh, I got that, oh, I got that, and you're not working, and then you worry there was no prenup. And if it's the case that this is money that was saved because of what came about, but it seemed like Jade's going off the idea of, oh, he gets this much every month or so. All of that may or may not be true, and she may be blowing through the money. So as far as the mom, I mean, when you look at your own kids, you would hate to have the idea that even if they got married, that this is someone who is using your son or using your daughter, whomever's taking care of them, in order to gain. And last but not least, when they were talking, she also brought up that part of the problem is they don't feel like that even as a wife, that she hasn't reached out to his side of the family that much. Which makes me look when we see the episodes. Like I said, we don't know what's happened prior or behind the scenes, but every scene we see is her and her family. But it wasn't until this visit that I've even heard even mention that he had a family, other than they have a casino and the revenue that comes from it. And and I would feel some as the if you were my case would be son-in-law, if that's your daughter-in-law, and I'm not really hearing from you, talking from you, this side of the family's not, I am going to have a particular way, feel a certain way, because if you're marrying and loving me, you're loving all of me, for me, my family, and everything else. It'd be different if somebody did something to cause something. But if you're reaping the reward of not only him, but if it's something from the family business, but then you can't take time to reach out, hey, how you doing? Hey, XYZ. No, I'm gonna have them same feelings also. So I get a better understanding of why the family is, and Jess. For now, her name is Jess with the mess.
So I agree with the sister thing, like, because she even said she the Chihuahua of the family, and Chihuahuas, them things bark. No bite, but they bark, and some bite, but still they so little. I feel like you can kick them punt them like a football, and they be gone. They might come back real quick, but you can't get them. So in my case, and with that analogy, I'm like, okay, so you ain't nobody to be scared of. You just all bark, no bite. So I'm like, so maybe you shouldn't be all bark because you don't know what you walking into. And I'm like, and somebody who got like all this and ain't a fighter or nothing like that, I'm like, don't go into situations with a sister who obviously is not. You say you the Chihuahua, so a sister who's probably even less than that, thinking you're gonna just come check these people because they might actually get you. You never know. But on the part of her not going down there, I guess the only reason that I see that as being an issue is saying either she'd have to move to North Dakota to be closer to them, but then she wouldn't have any family there, and he's in jail for like a long time. Which to me wouldn't make sense to move over there at least until he's either closer to getting out, or the fact that he's bought a house in Florida it makes sense to maintain that house while he's gone. So I get why she's probably not present there a lot, but she did say that she used to talk to the mom the mom on the phone. Then maybe their relationship kind of fell off. So I'm curious on what made it fall off, or like how long into it did you talk to her in the very beginning, and then y'all just quit talking? Because I mean, at least phone conversations I think would suffice if you can't be present, because he does video with her all the time, and you know she has easy access to him. Which also brings me to the case because she said he's in a medium security and it's a lot. Wait, is it him that's in the medium? Yeah, he was moved to the medium security and it's stricter. So how has he still got that phone? Like, how did he move? But yeah, he still got that phone where he can just, you know what I'm saying, FaceTime her.
Yeah, what I'm thinking is he has the money to bribe guards. So maybe, because you got to think about that day that he jumped on his cell phone to phone sex with her or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He did that really quickly and with ease. Mm-hmm. So he could. I'm not just trying to put them out there, but he could. Because which inmate was it? We may not have been talking about it at that time, but once he got out, he claimed he used to sleep with a lady at the prison. Well, actually, there's been two, because no, it wasn't Karen. It was Derek. He was claiming he was messing with one of the.
Yeah, and so was our boy, because he got out. Remember, he ended up with Terry. Terry was.
Oh yeah. Harry. It was Harry.
Mm-hmm. Carrie. I couldn't think of who it was, but I just remember Terry. So Terry and Harry.
And so I think there's ways around it if they want to, or they know how to get favors and blow backs out to get what they want. Do what they want.
But so I agree. That sister might have been the wrong one to take. Maybe she should have taken the other one, but maybe she took that one because she knows that I want to ask the right questions. I don't know. Either way, you saying he's moving, you don't want no drama. So that's why I say that might not have been the right one to take. Because the Chihuahua's gonna bark no matter what, even if it ain't a problem. So who knows what she's gonna do. Then I go back to the whole powwow thing. Mm-hmm. Is this every prison that allows Indians, Native Americans to have powwows?
I don't know, but with him being locked up in the area that he's in, it's probably more let me not try to use that word since I can't say it today. It's probably more likely because they are around reservations and stuff like that there.
So I do not have a problem with it because I do believe, like, Christopher Columbus took this country from them, like, or whatever it is. It was taken from them. They were here first. This wasn't an unfounded place. It just didn't have buildings and all that because they didn't need that. But then it kind of that like I guess bothers me a little bit because it's just like you just see how hard. I'm gonna leave that alone. But I'm like, all right, so they have a powwow where you get an all-day event or whatever. That's cool. So when she meets up with the cousins or whatever, I had said that I think I think I said it. If I didn't say it, I was thinking it. That she was very flashy on her social media. I was like, first of all, it was boring because she was going through like, here's my day. But when they did show the scenes of her showing stuff, she was a bit flashy. I'm assuming that he's able to do what he does, not just because it's like $12,000 a month, but because he saved it. Mm-hmm. And then once he met her, because apparently all the girlfriends was using for money, apparently, and that's why the mom is skeptical. But when you really in the big picture of things, depending on where you live and being here in Florida, $12,000 a month is good, but you still have to be careful out here in Florida. So depending on where they're at, like really $12,000 isn't a lot. And looking at their house,
it's like $160,000 a year. Now it's $160,000. Are you living like a pauper? No, but it's
but depending on where you're at, it can, because if you made that in New York, that's nothing.
Well, he's also locked up. That's nothing. Right, but he's also locked up, so it's not like he's having to pay rent, light bill. It's basically clear-cut money, unless it's being spent on something else. That for years now, since he's been locked up,
because he's spending it on like the house. They didn't say the house. They said he got the house, so it's probably a mortgage on it.
Right, but I'm talking about all the years while he was locked up before she came along. So 12,000, say for us, and we're out here paying bills and stuff. But if you could go 1 or 2 years of getting 160,000, and you're just basically taking care of commissary until you meet someone and you got the money to do X, Y, Z, it would last longer for someone like him than say one of us.
It would, but what makes me say that is because the mom said he's had other girls that use him for his money, which to me leads me to believe she's not the first person, unless he's only been in jail 5 years. Now that's a different story.
Now he's been like 10.
Yeah. So in those other 5 years, I'm sure there were other people, and I'm sure this is his thing. It's like, hey, I got money, blah, because what woman doesn't want to be spoiled? Like, literally most women love to be spoiled, whether it's flowers, like she had those whatever flowers in the box and all that stuff, and was like, this costs more than somebody's car note. That's excessive, because I'd be like, you don't really need to spend that. You could have got me some flowers and then something else, in my opinion. Like, why you just give me just that big giant? But it was pretty, and I know those are expensive and that's cute. But if he spends like that, maybe he's doing that because that's his wife. But if he was spending like that on other girlfriends, then it just makes me wonder, like, is it going to be when he comes out, like, you living on $12,000 income with a family or two people, and you're making payments on things? Because I don't know that he bought everything cash. He may have bought that, cash, but I'm assuming they're probably paying on the RV. They may have bought that two side-by-side cash, but they may be making payments. We don't know. So he's comfortable in that aspect, but when you come back and she's not working and this and that, and you're taking care of her, yes, $12,000 a month is a lot. But depending on what part of Florida they live in, and depending on what that mortgage is and stuff, and taxes and all that stuff, because like out here in Florida, it's crazy because of hurricanes, all that stuff. Like, a lot of junk is higher than other places. I just wonder, like, is it really? Because like they said, they're not rich, and they're not rich because even if they're getting that same amount, like, that's sustainable in certain areas, not everywhere though in the United States. So that's what just makes me wonder, like, how much did he have saved up? How much of it, before, in between girlfriends, whatever, did he actually have saved versus what he blew? And that's why the mom and them were like, look, you're irresponsible. And then they see what he's done for her, and they look on social media like, you still doing the same stuff you was doing before, So that's what makes me wonder. Like, they don't like it because they probably feel like she's using them, which it does come out like that. But like she said, 5 years, that's a long time to just be sitting up just using somebody. Because when he come out of jail, he's coming to that house. That's his house. So you can't not like somebody knowing they're coming eventually. And the tattoos tell me she do like him. She's attracted to him. We already know that. I think she may not care for his personality at times, but I think he is sweet behind closed doors too. Like, we're not seeing the side of him that's sweet. We only see the side of him that's annoying. That's what WeTV going to show us. So that's what we want to see, the drama. So. Did that make sense or something? Y'all both looking at me like I'm crazy.
I was waiting to see if Jerome was going to say anything.
Oh, okay. I'm like, y'all both looking at me.
All I'm going to say is that I can't sneeze at $12,000 a month. I mean, it's depending on where you go, but no matter where you live in a current economy where more less than 50% of this country is making $12,000 a month, I can't just look at it like it's somebody making $10 an hour.
I mean, you bring up a very good point because most Americans, they say the average income is like between 40 and 50,000 for most Americans.
So I'm not saying that it's not great money. It's
no. I'm just agreeing with you.
No. Yeah, and then I agree with y'all saying too, because most people are living off of minimum wage or even assistance. You know what I'm saying? But when you're like, because I live in Florida, I see like the prices of things. Like, the price of my house right now is, to me, ain't worth what it is, but it's worth that because of where I'm at. Their house, did she say that thing was like it depends on where they're at? Huh? They got it for $500.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, when you get a house in that price range, you talking about like a $3,000 mortgage and all this stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a lot. Plus, they have like multiple vehicles. Depending on if they're paid off, those car notes might be high. You know, I mean, I'm just looking at it as a regular person who, when you look at what your bills are versus, you know what I'm saying, when you have the mortgage, because then there's like all these taxes and stuff that's added onto it as well. It ain't cheap to live here in Florida. Like, literally, if I wasn't retired and had a job, I probably wouldn't stay here because I don't think I could afford it. I would be. It's a lot of homeless people here because it's not cheap at all. And then if you go to like Clearwater, you're talking like double what I pay. Like, I live in like a suburb area, and it's still expensive. But if you go to like the Tampa, where I used to live in South Tampa, you're talking about a 1 bedroom apartment that's like 600 square feet for like $2,000. Like, to me, that's crazy. And when the bigger you get, like, they're adding, it ain't like, oh, 2,000, 2 bedroom, and we're gonna go to 25. No, these foods be like 3,000. I'm like, dude, it's crazy expensive out here. So I'm just wondering, like, per month, you're surviving, but when somebody ain't even helping at all, like, it's just like, I don't know. I see where her family coming from. Because, like, y'all gonna blow through the money. If you're surviving only off of his income, y'all gonna blow through his money in Florida.
I agree. I'm sorry. I was going to say I agree, and which is more of a reason now, even explaining how I just heard you explain it, that when you look at the family and her as a wife, that's even more reason for you to be like, hey, honey, this is nice, but we really need to start putting aside a nest egg. Honey, this is nice, but we need to do this because he's not he's locked up, but he's not really there to see the financials in his hand where she is. So I don't see her taking accountability, being like, because even if he wasn't locked up, a lot of times when you had the traditional family household, man come home, he work, money in the bill account, honey pays the bills, let us know what's what, and we go from there. So I believe it's on her. If he's bringing it in, that she should be like, let him know that, listen, I love you, and you don't have to buy me. No matter if he's offering, you're already at the point of being married. Because if not, you're going to be with all these nice things, 70 years old as door greeters at Walmart. That's all I got.
And the other thing too, you know, like that dress she wore, I would have to see that dress wasn't expensive because I could just see, you know, the one for her sister's birthday. When you see stuff that's like, because that dress is pretty ugly. When you see ugly stuff like that, a lot of times that stuff be expensive.
Like the pants she was wearing to the powwow?
Expensive, probably. And you be like, what? Like, I went down to a store down in South Tampa, down in the Harbor Island area. And it was like this one store, like they don't even have prices on their stuff. And it was just like some linen beach clothes. And it was like, how much is this? It's like $200 for the top. I'm like, ain't no way I'm gonna spend $200 on that top. Like, literally, you could get something like that, I don't know, from anywhere else and not spend $200. Now, maybe that's the best quality linen you ever gonna find. But to me, the way it looks, if it looks linen and it flows in the wind, then I don't care. You know what I mean? But I guarantee because of the lifestyle he's providing her, she probably ain't buying cheap stuff either. And then his gifts to her ain't cheap. And that's why I'm saying that $12,000 a month, you can run through that quick when you're not looking at what you're doing and you're just spending. And I know that because like I do that on some other things that I'm like, dude, oops, I didn't mean to spend that much money. And now I'm like, okay.
To add on to what you're saying, it is easy to spend through it, especially when you're not thinking about, okay, wait a minute. This money is coming from money that was saved. This is not residual money.
Yeah.
Because the way the niece was saying, I don't think it's residual, or maybe not that amount is residual. Mm-hmm. So they need to be really living off of what is residual.
Or what's residual?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to be living a lifestyle of what you know is coming back, not what was sitting in the bank account earning interest on and all of this other stuff. Because eventually you're going to burn through that.
Yeah. And that's what she said. We're not rich. And that's because they're not they didn't get it probably like he did, like because he was put away, or they didn't have it like he did. They probably used their money to like build up what they have.
Yeah.
And now they're maintaining.
Or they probably got a lump sum.
Could have.
Like from the casinos. And his lump sum has lasted him because he's sitting there breathing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But he gonna blow through it on these women like his mama said stop doing.
Yes. All right, so Jerome, he was giving us his take. We kind of just took over. So, Jerome, you want to finish?
Oh, he had muted. That's why I had he
Oh, you're
muted before I
done?
Yeah, I'm done. Yeah, I'm done.
he had muted
Okay.
before I started talking, so I didn't know I took over. I was on
Okay.
mute.
Alrighty. So I missed him going on mute. Alrighty. So our next and final couple was Savannah and Jake. Okay. She's borderline fatal attraction. Alrighty. So, anyways, just ignore my random little pettiness. So, we see that Savannah is meeting with an attorney and she wants to talk to him about getting Jake's sentence commuted. Okay. And so, she describes his crime and like his behavior was outrageous during his trial. And, like they had to handcuff him or shackle him to like a chair and stuff. And he threatened people's lives during the trial. And that's when they were saying like that he had robbed a drug dealer. He got all this time from robbing a drug dealer. I'm not saying that he should not have gotten time or anything like that, or that the drug dealers stuff deserved to be stolen. But apparently he stole some weed and stole some money, from my understanding. But there was some people in the house when he broke in to rob it. All right, and so the lawyer is just talking to her and about this sentence and stuff. And so he was like, he asked her, does he still behave the way that he behaved during his trial? And she's like, no, he's a completely different person. And she asks the lawyer, do you think it could possibly help his case if he and I were married? And so the lawyer says to her, it could possibly. He doesn't say, oh, yes, that will definitely help his case. He was like, it's a possibility. And so, because we're dealing with this have she. I don't want to call her a lunatic because I feel like that's mad. That's mean. But she turns around and she ends up talking to Jake on the phone. Oh, and also the lawyer told her that it kind of seems like she needs to talk to his family because it seems like there may be some secrets or some things that she doesn't know. So after this lawyer's visit, she decides to go back to, I guess, Waterloo is his hometown. Oh, she's going there because she wants to meet with his family and talk to them. He gets on the phone with her and he's like, and she's like, well, I got great news. The lawyer says if we get married, then that can help get your sentence commuted. I'm like, that is not what the lawyer said. That's not what he said at all. And so he then, here we go again with what I was seeing earlier in the episode, where these people, they're trying to act like one thing to achieve something else. And he was like, no, 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 don't start that because we're not going to get married because you say that's going to help my case. Like, no, that's not going to happen. For me, that would have just said a lot right there. He already did not want to get married to you before this. Now you've lied to him and told him that y'all should get married and that's going to help his case. And he's still like, no, no. So it's like, leave it alone, sis. Just leave it alone. Okay. All right. And she also tells him that she's driving to Waterloo and she wants to meet with his family. And he tells her, no, that's not a good idea. He doesn't think so. And that's intrusive for her to do that. Right. And yeah, and so we see her, yes, arrive at a hotel, I'm assuming in this Waterloo place. And oh, he did tell her to talk to one of his friends. He would probably help her with the paperwork. And so we see her walking into this hotel, and that's where their scenes ends. So thoughts on Savannah and Jake?
So first of all, the last episode, I don't know if I said it because I don't think I said it because I think I forgot. I felt like there was a secret when she said that she's been trying to work on that whatever the thing is to send up to the courts.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, well, his family won't help her. And he's like, yeah, that's not, yeah, I already know. So there's something she don't know that's out there for real, because maybe the family already been through something and they're like, it's not gonna work. Because like she said, like the lawyer said, if everybody on the panel for the parole or whatever was like, yeah, go ahead, let him out. And the mayor said no. there's
It was
something
the
that
governor.
oh, the
Mhm.
governor. Yeah, so even worse. The governor said no. You know, so there's something bigger with his case or that he did or his actions. Something is the reason that, you know what I'm saying, the governor is like, no, he can't be let free. Plus the fact that his family won't help with the paperwork to get him to do the I forgot what it's called. The whatever it
Community.
is, the early release stuff. To commute to get his sentence commuted or whatever. There's a reason behind that. And I sensed that in the last episode, like I said, when when the family was like not trying to help her at all, I'm like, there's something that they know that she don't know. But you know, I forgot about it. So when she said that this episode, I'm like, oh yeah, but you already knew that because they've been not wanting to help you and all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? They've been leaving you hanging. What family wouldn't want to work together with somebody who's willing to do the legwork to help you get your son out or your nephew or your brother or your sister? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Who wouldn't? Like if somebody's gonna do the legwork and all I gotta do is write up like a character letter or something else, yeah, I would do it too. But obviously they went through something because they already done that before and they got denied. So the matter of what he needs to be honest with her about is what happened the time before. And then two, he's giving out this friend. Do you trust this friend? Because I feel like this friend is going to give some info that he probably don't want out because this is We TV. Like this life at the lockup, like you know, or love during lockup. This is what we do. We get to the people who can give us a drama. This person gonna spill some beans on something. I guarantee you. This friend, this ain't the one he wanted her to really be with, to meet with. And then, especially if the friend getting paid to be on there and the friend getting paid, maybe they slip a little more to be messy. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, okay, you're saying like you don't go see my family, don't go. That's a red flag. Because why can't I go see your family? We've been together. You want to marry me, or no, they're not engaged.
You
But
don't want to marry me.
you don't want to marry me, but you want to be with me. It's a red flag when you say I can't meet your family. Like that'd be intrusive. Like, what's intrusive? Is it intrusive for them or for you? Because they may tell me something. Like, you know what I mean? And then as far as just him, like the friend or whatever, I'm very, very curious on what the friend is gonna say. Why did she go to Waterloo without talking to him first? Because that right there is a red flag against her. Like if I was dating her, I'd be like, why would you go? What are you doing? Like when she said I'm driving, and then she was like, well, I was gonna go, I'm heading to Waterloo, so I was gonna see if I could talk to your family. I don't know what you gonna do in Waterloo. Because obviously she don't live there, she got a hotel. I would be like, what are you doing in Waterloo? You need to explain that. Is it for work? Is it for an appointment? Because apparently you was going to go do a surprise visit on somebody and you weren't even going to tell me because you were heading there before we even talked. So to me, that's a red flag. Like, what you doing? Because I know, like, I don't know about anybody else, but I do not like surprise visits. And I don't like surprise visits that are going to be confrontational. So if I had a child and their girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever the child gender is, showed up in my house like, hey, I'm here in town because I'm trying to do this, and then I'm also trying to figure this out. I'd be like, hold on, nobody told me you was coming. Like, wait, what is this? What's going on here? You know what I'm saying? Like, I would be annoyed because I don't like surprise visits. I got annoyed at my dad when I didn't realize. Like, I'm like, I know we talked about you coming during the month, but you showed up today, and I didn't know you was coming because I'm like, I would have had stuff ready for you, or I'd have went grocery shopping. You know, things like that. Like, it's just different reasons that surprise visits are not. They're not okay. Like people want to prepare, especially when you're coming from out of town. So it's like you got a suitcase and you're saying hi to me. You plan on staying a night here? Because I didn't tell you that either. You know what I mean? So it's just a lot of things. Like, why didn't he ask her why she was there? Like that bothered me. But I don't know. I feel like and then the last thing, because I know JC need to go. We need it in this. But so when she said that she was gonna, like, she was coming down, or not going down there, but dang, I just lost my thought when I said all the extra. All right, I'm gonna let JC
go. All right, and I agree with actually what Reese said. What both of y'all were saying. She talked to the guy, and he gave her some ideas, and she ran with it. I don't know what it is about this wedding, and it's like shame on you for trying to use his livelihood as another reason to say marry me.
That part.
Because I don't know if when she was driving, she said, "Well, now that I realize that can happen and the wedding can happen, I can go full Aaron Brockovich." I'm like, you all. I heard that. I just knew then it's not
Fatal,
going to turn out right.
I didn't hear
I said
Yeah.
Fatal Attraction. Yeah, she's
I didn't even hear her say that. Oh my god.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when she was on the call before she called him, she said that.
Oh, I missed that. Oh wow.
And then, like I said, when she went down there, and she was on the phone with him. She's like, "I'm down here, and I was just going to go see your family." And he's like, "No, just don't go pop up at their house. They already not answering your calls. This is not going to turn out pretty." Oh, and then talking about and then even with the wedding part, he's like, she says, "Well, he said be nice we get married." She's like, "Listen, I'm not trying to talk about that. Tell me what else he said." He also said that if we sit here and do this, that getting married would help. I'm like, you just went back to it again.
She don't listen. She don't care.
She don't care. It's like
didn't say nothing else but marriage was the only good thing you came out of that conversation, though, to be real.
Right. It's just, and he said like get the family involved, but I'm wondering now when she talked to the family, did she talk to the family just about them getting married? Because I'll be tired of hearing that too. I ain't answering the phone no more.
All right.
We still ain't cleared up the prior incident. Totally about the mom and seeing at the concert and all that stuff.
Yeah, whether she down for the drummer or whatever.
Yes. We don't even know this yet. He wants to feel like, and I'm willing to bet that if he was closer to him getting out, that he just wants to wait till he's free before they get married. And I don't see a problem with that at all. Especially if I'm sitting here being with you. She is so selfish, self-centered in her mindset. And to even just go down there. So he did give her somebody to talk to, and like Reese said, that she's going to find out stuff that not wanting to find out. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, it's like she really has this one-track mind. I'm really just going to say they need to split up, and she needs to get with Andy, and then they can just have.
Yeah, and they can live in their delusional world together. It's crazy.
Exactly, because they're both about their own mindset. Go ahead.
Because see, with him, he could easily play her. He could tell her, "Yeah, I'm going to get married to you. Yeah, do the whole song and dance, and have her waiting for that." But at least he is being honest.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to tell her, and it's like she can't just respect the honesty. I'm sorry, I interrupted you with that.
No, it's fine because Andy is the one that was the former officer, right?
Right.
Okay, so I want to make sure. Yeah. So I mean, he's delusional. It's like I don't do nothing. I don't see what I'm doing. Her, I don't know. I'm sitting here saying. Want to get married. I don't see what the problem is. I want to talk to the family. I don't see what the problem is. You're not seeing what you're doing to make them not want to do these things. That's the kind of person I just look at the phone and watch it ring. In front of the name on my phone, I always put DNA, which means do not answer. And that's how it should be in my phone.
She is annoying.
Yeah.
So, but one quick thing. If she had have told them like that, he said it would help the situation. Not like, he said we should get married, but he did say it would help because like she brought up like it would make it like a stable. He said that's true.
Well, he said it would possibly help.
Well, he said but it makes it look like he's going to a stable place, so it gives another layer of possibilities. Because at the end of the day, that lawyer, everybody said yes, and the governor said no. So at the end of the day, like it still could be turned down, no matter married, kids, nothing could stop it. If that governor is still there, or if the next person knows what happened for real, could be like no. Because obviously there was more to his story. If he had to be chained to the floor or wherever she said he was chained down and this and that, like to me, that sounds scary. That sounds like somebody who did some serious stuff. Like you're so bad in court that they have to tie you down in court. You rarely see people tied down in court. Even serial killers are not tied down necessarily in court unless they're a threat or a danger. And so if you're a threat or a danger and you're only a teenager, Like that's some sociopathical, psychopathical stuff. So I'm like, you might want to reconsider too, just based off of that information you're getting. But yeah, like I feel like she also told him in a way that made it sound like the lawyer said get married. The lawyer said get married. No, he said it could help. So it's something that he should think about, because if it could help him get out and you want to get out, think about it. But know that there's still a chance to get married, may not do it. And if I absolutely do not want to get married, you know what I'm saying? And just say, like, I don't care if that'll help me or not, I'm not doing it. But she made it sound like the lawyer said get married because that's gonna do it. And that wasn't right. That came out because I'm sure he didn't believe that.
And one last thing was just touch on right quick before we go is that anybody else catch on that they said that the board was approving, but the governor didn't approve?
Yeah.
And that the person he robbed was a renowned dealer. Mm-hmm. That somebody might have been working with somebody, and that's why.
I didn't catch that part.
I did catch it was a renowned dealer. Like he broke into a drug dealer's house, a known person, and then I didn't put two and two together though. It could have something to do with that, like
they said the board when he was go for his I forgot what you call it when you go for your
trying to get his sentence commuted.
Yeah, to get it commuted, that the board was saying okay, but the governor is the one that keeps rejecting it. And if he's well known, that could be part of the reason is because the governor and the person they robbed may be affiliated. Or
the governor could be scared of, kickback from the drug dealers' friends and.
True.
Mm-hmm.
These are things she need to research. Is the same governor still in office right now? You know what I mean? Because you might not have a chance.
Well, it's crazy because they said that happened to him in 2022. So I was like, okay, that was just last year.
Oh yeah, you're right. It is last year. Yeah, it might be the same governor there. So you trying to do it too soon.
Yeah. So my thought process was just that it may get kicked out because you haven't had enough time between the last time you did it.
But it's not like he didn't show that he was worthy of it because everybody else said he was good to go. It's just the governor has to, I guess because it's commuting the sentence, the governor has to make that decision.
Reese Didi, no. Reese Didi, no. We just need to get married. That's all that matters. We need to get married.
True. True. And if y'all seen the previews, did y'all see the previews? Hold on. Who did she did she hit somebody who went and got a dress in advance. She gets a dress.
She got a dress already, a wedding dress?
In the preview. So I'm like, based off of what I see now and what's going on, she got that dress still, assuming that she can talk him into it, I'm assuming. But I don't know what's gonna happen later. I just know she does get a dress. Or she goes dress shopping. She goes dress shopping.
It's like I don't know who's more annoying with this. Whether it's Renika and her family trying to tell her, or him trying to tell Savannah this wedding is not going to happen. Stop trying to make this wedding happen.
Him is more annoying because Anika still has false hope, where you got the horse's mouth saying stop it, and you are like, maybe I should still do it. No, the horse told you to stop. Renika's going off of everybody else's opinion. Not what her and him talk about. She's going up with what her and him talk about and still is like, well, maybe. No, I don't want to marry you. Well, maybe. So
yeah, he just has a headache today. He's not feeling himself. So he's just telling me no today.
This man got a secret he ain't told you yet.
Yeah. I'm almost wondering. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and say it now. So when it happens, I'll be right. Okay, so
he already married.
I think that's what I was about to say. I have a feeling he's already married.
First. I was thinking that too. He already married. He still need to get divorced. He's in the process of a divorce, or he still needs to get divorced. Like he was engaged, but he didn't tell her. Like one of them went through.
Yeah, and the mom knows it, so she doesn't want to interact with that girl.
Yeah,
that's what I think it is.
Yeah, and she found reasons to not interact with her too. Like, oh, I'm not interacting because of this. Which is legit reasons.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I knew you was gonna think that. I was like, "Oh, you thinking the same thing?" I was saying, I'm like, maybe he already married, and that's why he didn't want to marry her because he got to
Uh-huh.
get divorced to get married, and you can't just go get married. And you still married? Like my divorce ain't final, and old girl ain't letting me get divorced. So whatever the case may be,
Hmm.
we'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. We shall see. But all
But
right, that was
from
this
the
week.
preview, it was not a cute dress either.
Of course not. You see how she was looking. You remember when she was sitting on that bench? It looked like she was wearing medieval wear then.
Wait, who bought a dress before her previously that didn't know for sure they was getting married and it wasn't cute? No, yeah, oh girl,
Yes. That
huh?
older
The older
lady.
lady,
Okay. Can't remember what her name
older
is.
lady, and the dude had the bad teeth.
Hmm. Yeah, and then they were fighting in front of her trailer.
Yeah,
Her
yeah,
neighbor boyfriend and her actual boyfriend.
yeah,
I
yeah. That's who this is giving
can't
me right
remember.
now. That's who is giving me right now. I can't think of her name, but that's who is giving me right now. I just can't think of who they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
If
she went
somebody,
dress shopping
if,
and stuff, not even engaged yet.
yeah. If somebody remembers the name, please put it in the chat. I remember, and then she bought it from like a secondhand store, didn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I remember that. I sure do. Dang, why can't I remember her name though? I
Because you
can't
used
even
to talk
remember.
about her. So Anissa,
Anissa, yes.
I don't remember his name, but she was Anissa.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's
That was
giving me
good.
Anissa and oh boy vibes. I'm like, why you shopping for a wedding dress? Y'all ain't even engaged.
Yeah. Well, alrighty, I guess we'll wrap it up here. I know football fans there wanting to go watch the game. What game is on, Jerome?
The Cowboys and the
That's all that
Jaguars.
matters, Cowboys.
Okay. All right. So with that, we're gonna say bye for this week. Come back and check us out next week for the next recap. And until next time, friends, bye. And hit the like and subscribe buttons before you leave.
Bye.